Hi, I'm Richie.
Hi, I'm George, and this is 909 Kickz podcast.
And today we have a local hardcore legend. He's from Sydney. His name's Dave, DJ Showboat. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you very much for having me, boys. Thank you. Much respect for this too.
Thank you.
Much respect for you, bro. That's why we got you on here.
Oh, respect where it's due, mate. You're doing a good thing here, so I couldn't, no way I could say no.
Well, thanks again for coming.
My pleasure.
Thank you. How was the drive?
Drive not too bad.
Not too bad?
Yeah.
It was a quick one?
Yeah, well, the way I drive.
Oh, yeah, we heard some burnouts.
that wasn't me. I can't take responsibility for that. It was like that when I got there.
It was just
Do you reckon I've said that a few times in my
It was
life?
just conveniently happened when you rock up.
Yeah. No.
I think I saw a car tyre fly up in the air for a bit.
Yeah.
But, thank you for coming on board. And, we wanted to have you here for you to tell your story and for the fans out there to
as soon
know
as I heard
about
as soon as I heard about what you're doing, I was like, mate, what a good thing. Yeah. So
awesome, man.
yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm interested to see how you got into the whole scene.
All right. The way I got into the raves is a bit of a culmination of things that had happened in my life leading up to that. Music wise, I've got a very musical family, so I've always had a very eclectic music taste. I was a huge fan of new wave and synth pop in the 80s when I was a kid. Stuff like Simple Minds and Human League and Cars. I was a huge fan of Prince. Just stuff like that. So that kind of sort of synth music I was already into. Going into coming into the 90s into high school, the sort of rap culture hit and just exploded. So I was right into the hip hop too. So when I first heard hardcore, it was like a combination of both. It was like the synths from the old synth pop I used to like kind of stuff, and then they had these hip hop samples, which I already knew, the vocal samples and all that kind of stuff. Yep. It would just, it hit the market. It's perfect for me. I fell in love with it the first time I heard it. So,
I've never heard anybody explain it that well, and that makes a lot of sense now.
Right. Look, let me just sort of give people a lead into the 90s to help understand it. Coming into the 90s, in 1990, interest rates was 17.5%. Right? Now, just to put that in perspective for people who don't know what the hell that means, last year we got up to 4.35% or something, and people were literally jumping off the cliff, right?
Yep.
Right? So can you imagine 17.5, right? People were broke, right? All the kids were in gangs. If you got money when you were a kid, then you took it off somebody else. It was like that. It was
Allegedly,
rough, Allegedly, that's word on the street, right?
Yeah.
This is all allegedly, So talking about shoes, I remember when the BWs first came out, the 91s.
Nice.
The term rolled came from that because they literally used to roll you and pull them off your feet. Like people used to get the shoes taken off and flat out back in those days. Like if you owned a pair of them, you either had to run real fast or fight real good or a bit of both. Because otherwise people would, the 90s, because kids grew up on the street back then. Obviously these are the days before the internet and all that kind of stuff. Street scenes are how things got around. Your word of mouth and underground scenes, evolved from that. So in the original days, the rave scene was a street scene. It evolved from the streets and all that kind of stuff. And the main area back in those days was around Oxford Street and all that kind of stuff, because that's where the shops were that we bought all the stuff from, and records and all that kind of stuff. You'd buy your tickets there on the Saturday, and it was the scene in those days. It was intense. It was these days most of the gigs are over 18s.
Yep.
In those days they were all age. So the majority of the people I would say in the scene would have been under 20 then, and the majority of those would have been under 18. So it was a youthful scene. There was a lot more energy in it. It was a younger scene. It had a lot of energy. So what I was saying about coming into the 90s, with things being harder times and stuff like that. Growing up on the streets, when we first heard of these raves, they'd been going on since the late 80s, but the ones that we knew of that, the hardcore evolution sort of, began sort of, around 94-ish. I was 15 then. I was a really keen sportsman and footy player when I was young. I played footy since I was 6, and then funny enough, coming into 1995, I was meant to go on a tour to New Zealand, right? I sold raffle tickets and you name it to raise the money, right? 3 days before it, we played a trial and I blew my knee out bad. I did my ACL and my medial ligament in one go, so I needed a reconstruction. The knee was locked, so I had to be operated on immediately. So I didn't get to go on the tour, right? Because my obsession with football, that took up all my time. Now all of a sudden that was gone. I needed something else. So that's around the time I was starting to get into the rave. So it just sort of fell into place. I swapped one obsession with sports for the raves and all that kind of stuff, and I'm still not over both, but that's where it started. Okay, so how we got into it from there, my best mate, his older brother was going to raves back then, him and his girlfriend. So we used to knock off their mixtapes. So they had it was DJ Akira versus Arthur and the early Spellbound ones and early Vegas ones and stuff like that, DJ Crisis.
Nice.
So yeah, we'd be bumping them in our Walkmans flat out at school and stuff. I remember the first time I started listening to it at school, mate. So people go, "What are you listening to?" And you give it to them. Go, what the hell is this, man? Is this even music? Where's the words?
Where's the
all right. It was brand new. It was fresh. That was the exciting thing about it. It was like a secret only a few of us knew about. This whole little underground thing. We'd rock up to school, and you'd do your normal school week, and then we'd go do, this stuff on the weekend, and people just wouldn't even believe you, like, oh yeah, sure you do, Yeah. But so that's how we got into it, sort of, knocking off his brother's tapes and sort of, checking out the flyers and stuff like that. So towards the end of '94, we started sort of hanging around the scene a little bit and sort of going, and there was a scene back in those days hanging outside parties. So
I think that's still a scene.
Yeah, but big, like there'd be as many people outside as there were in,
Yep.
So you could go and still have a good night. You'd hear there were no sound restrictions in those days, so the sound was booming. You could hear it from miles away. So out the front was as good as inside,
Right.
Yep.
So and we didn't have the money. We're only young, so we didn't have the money for the tickets and whatever else, And then, funny enough, it was coming up to New Year's Eve this was the first rave I went to, New Year's Eve on 1994, 95. And a rave series called Prodigy, which were just unbelievable. So we bought our tickets. We didn't have any money. Funny enough, we found a wallet a couple of days before it.
Allegedly found.
Right?
Yeah, I found a few of those.
Yeah, no, but there was no ID. We just had cash, so we took the cash, right?
Yeah.
Well, mate, we're 15, we're broke. It was like finding gold. So the way things sort of fell into place when you look back like that,
Meant to be.
it was sort of meant to be, So we went out to this rave. It was unbelievable. It was behind Rose Hill Racecourse. It was, to the date, the biggest one I've ever been to, except for maybe a couple of those. I've been to, obviously, Thunderdome. There are a couple of Utopia ones. They had one out at Wonderland that had like 10,000 or something. That was probably bigger.
Yep.
But apart from that, that was the biggest one I've ever been to. The warehouse was massive. I mean, people who was into their sound and know their sound, it was Maya Sound in those days.
Oh yeah.
My sound, mate,
Yeah.
it's quality gear. I'll never forget the old stacks. You'd walk in and it'd give you an asthma attack, like just the bass in the chest, So anyway, and how's this, right? We get the train out there. We get there. In those days, there's no GPS. There's no, right? We're just hoping we find it.
Gregory's.
No. This is train days, even before we had a car, right? So we're on the train. So we get off at Clyde Station and go to Rose Hill. So we get off at Rose Hill and we're like, oh, I wonder where we go. The second you get off the train, you whoop, 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 whoop. You just follow the sound. That's how we used to find them in those days. Seriously, no joke, right? So yeah, we've got to this place. It was just, mate, just an onslaught for the senses, right? It wasn't just raves in those days. They had like a mini carnival. So they had Dodgem cars, they had a giant slide, they had, those octopus things that spin and like this was all going on outside, So yeah, I remember I'll never forget the first time I walked in and just saw this, and I'm like, wow, what is this? We'd heard of it, you knew it existed, but to actually see it for yourself, you're like, wow, this is what it's all about,
It's like another world.
And as I said, because it was so underground then, people had no idea what was going on, so it was like our little secret. It was cool, So yeah, so that was my first one. And then naturally, so that was as I said, New Year's Eve 94, 95. And sort of 95 was when I really got into going week in, week out, and sort of
nice.
really dove into the scene,
And how did you get into the DJing side of it, and who influenced you?
Okay.
How'd you get your first run?
Do you want to show you?
Yes, please.
Please.
Oh, okay. I've got my artist pass from the first gig I ever had. I thought I'd bring it.
Give us the keys. So he's got respectable stickers on his case, George.
Hey.
I'm not sure what stickers you have on yours.
I have to cover them all with DJ promo and Thunderdome now.
Yeah.
All right, now this one, my Roman numerals are correct. It says 22nd of the 2nd, 1997. Does that look right to you? The date, the bottom?
Can I see?
No Roman numerals?
Yeah, 22 2.
Of the 2nd, 1997.
I don't know what C means.
That's 1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, so the X behind it makes it 19.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, so I show it to the camera so people can
Yeah,
see.
sorry.
42 years old.
Oh,
Still
which
learning.
camera? That camera? So that's this one.
Yeah. So obviously that was your artist pass. This was a huge achievement at the time. I'd played. So so going back to the scene in those days.
I might have been there. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that's. They used to have. So they'd have what was called a chill out.
Yeah.
So because the parties were hectic and people were on a lot of drugs and stuff like that, it'd get too intense sometimes, and people need somewhere to go and chill out. They'd have DJs playing in the chill out rooms as well. So it'd be like a second room,
Yep.
And we used to also have recoveries. So you'd go out all night Saturday. As the party was ending the next day, somebody would come and give you a flyer. We've got a recovery at wherever. So they'd usually be, we had a few on boats. Every now and again, someone would just set a generator up at Sydney Park, and we just go all day Sunday as well. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty intense. So I sort of got around the traps, playing at recoveries and wherever anyone would give me a start. Can I jump on for 10 minutes and just have it? And then sort of gradually got known around a few people that were in already DJing and stuff like that, and and then this was a speedcore event.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff the Chef was big in this. A bloke called John Chamberlain. Hello, Chamber. He put it on with Jeff the Chef back then. Great series of parties. Are actually world renowned. And after that, I sort of dropped off a little bit. I played a few other ones and sort of dropped. I had a few drug problems.
Yep.
And which I've spoken about. I was telling the boys before, I've got a video speaking about it on Lad Bible on also on YouTube. So I was still involved in the music then, but because I wasn't attending parties as much and all that kind of stuff. I was just But then also around late 90s, 2000, the scene all but dropped off. So and it wasn't just here; it was sort of worldwide. There was no music coming out. Yep. So what my understanding of it is, and any Dutch people out there might be able to correct me if I was wrong, but apparently towards the end of the 90s, the soccer hooligans from Feyenoord and Ajax were meeting up at parties and fighting, and it just totally ruined the scene over there. And so ID&T got out of it and went to like Sensation, all the other ones I ended up going to, and all that kind of stuff. Mega Rave sort of took over there, which was Rouge. But yeah, there was a real sort of transitional point where nothing much was happening, and it was people thought, oh, it's dead, Then sort of 2001, 2, 3ish, it started to come back, and then by 2003, 4ish, the scene was pumping again. They were making good music, and that's your millennium style. So yeah, so that's what was going on around then.
How do you reckon the 90s raves compared to today's modern party?
That's a good question. So now it's an internet scene, which is cool. It's just, as I said, in those days, to understand it as well, you have to understand that what went hand in hand with the rave scene and the record culture was the drug culture, right? Ecstasy was huge back then. Raves, all right, just to give you a quick example, I remember when I first had my first pill in 1995, they were $60 and you could not hand the money over quick enough. That's how good these things were, right? They were good. Right,
that's in 90s money too.
This is 90s money, and then like I told you, in the 90s people were broke, so $60 bought something back then. It wasn't a thing from Coles this big. You actually got something for your money back then.
Yep.
So to put it in perspective, that's how good they were. You could not hand over the money quick enough, and they weren't easy to find. So the two scenes that pretty much had them were the gay scene and the rave scene. So that drug economy also went hand in hand with the rave. So one sort of fueled the other.
Yep.
So it was an intense scene. It was week in, week out. It was, you were at the record shops during the week, flat out buying all the new stuff coming in. You bought your tickets, you went to the rave that weekend. As I said, you'd go to a recovery, then it was an intense scene. But as I said, because it was an all age scene then, there was more youthful energy in it.
Yep.
Where these days, us old blokes, we go to a big one and that's us for a couple of months,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, you know what I mean.
You know, next day go for a run.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But we can't get down like we used to.
100%. 100%.
So that's look. As far as people who are into hardcore these days, they're just as committed as the older ones. It's just a different scene, like it's a different thing you're committed to. You see the music that's continually coming out and pushing the styles and all that kind of stuff. It just puts it into the next generation and so on and so forth. So, as we were saying before, there's been a number of scenes that are splintered off from hardcore.
Yep.
So going back to when I first started in 1995, that was when the end of 94, happy hardcore, early ravers they call it. Now back then we called it happy hardcore. Just blew up. It took over the scene. As I said, it went with the ecstasy and all that kind of stuff. And the parties back then were fun, man. They were a lot of fun, right? So that music just went with it. It was fun, energetic, bouncing music. It got cheesy, after a year's worth of it, and people got over it. But at the time, it was hot, So I remember one time when Paul Elstak came out and I was speaking to him about it, and he said to me, he goes, "You know what?" He said, "The man responsible for that was Scott Brown." He said, because when Scott Brown was first developing that style, he had the Scottish and the UK influences back then, which were, your DJ Seductions and stuff like that. They had the happy tunes, but with the breakbeat.
Yep.
Where Scott Brown put it with the 4 on the floor, doof, 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 right? Even Paul said, when that first came out, he goes, everybody in Rotterdam, everybody in Holland wanted to get on that style, right? So that's when you saw Paul Elstak started releasing the happy hard stuff on Rotterdam Records and Force Records, stuff like that. Charlie Low Noise and Mental Theo, all that kind of stuff back then. When it first came out, it was huge. Anyone who tells you it wasn't is a liar.
I still love the Happy Gabba.
I've still got it all. I'm guilty. Like,
I put that one step above Happy Hardcore.
Man, seriously, I put that stuff on from time to time. I can't listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
But every now and again, when you're having a bit of a melancholy day, or you know what I mean. Like you're going down memory lane in your head or something. You're like, oh, I remember that. And you whack them on. Mate, I'll mix up a set of that stuff. So the last Children of the Hardcore actually played early rave. It was the first time I've played early rave in ages. And then the day after I played at the Scott Brown one, which was the day after that was in November last year. Do you know how much fun that was? I haven't played early rave in ages. It's fun music, man.
It is, man.
People get up and the thing about DJing is you get the energy back from the people, right? So the crowd is. I love playing. I can play to myself nonstop, right? I'll never get sick of spinning records. But when you go, it's different, mate. You're getting that feedback back from the crowd. They're giving you that energy back, and it's just, it was cool. It was like going down memory lane again, you know. So yeah, at the time that's what was hot. There was still hardcore, of course, and artists were making both. They were the same artists making both, you know.
Yep.
And then Happy Hardcore sort of splintered off into its own scene where now it's not associated with the hardcore or Gabba scene at all. Obviously, the next one after that was hardstyle. As we were saying before, some of the first pioneers of hardstyle were actually ex-hardcore producers, Prophet, Zany, Lady Dana, etc. There's a whole bunch of them, Pavo. That ended up splintering off into its own scene now. So hardcore, it develops styles, but also ones that sort of, so now the one that's sort of splintered off is sort of up-tempo. I mean, there's a crossover with both scenes, obviously, but I could see where that's sort of going to go in its own direction too. But the thing about, even when these scenes sort of splinter off, people go, oh, well, that's it, hardcore's over. It's not.
No.
It's not. I've been here 30 years, right? And I said to someone the other day, oh, yeah, I've got to get to Holland, do this, that, and the other. And I said, why? You can do it next year and the year after and the year after. It's not going anywhere. Hardcore is not finishing at the end of the year. Right?
We'll never die.
Yeah, right? Mate, I'm 30 years and I'm still here. So I can tell you, it's not going anywhere, man. And the one thing I love about it is there's that core group of people like yourselves that just always, they're always, involved with it. They're always around it, stuff like that. So even over the years, different people have come and gone. There's still some that have been around as long as me who, just as into it as they were 30 years ago. You know, like
100%.
and they're passing on these stories and the energy and all that stuff to the younger people. So it's just sort of how things go. You know,
sure.
Yeah.
Tell us like a DJ that kind of wowed you early on, and a DJ that still wows you now.
Okay, so in the old days, locally, I've always had a lot of time for Luke Spellbound.
Yeah.
And funny enough,
Same.
I'm playing back to back with him. I don't know if I was meant to announce that, but yeah, I'm not going to say when or where, but yeah, we've got a set coming up where we're going to play an hour and a half back to back. It's going to be like a dream come true for me. So that's going to be awesome. I'll put all the details up on my page when that's coming up.
Have you played with Luke before?
No.
Okay.
So last
Sick.
time at Children of Hardcore, that was at the free one at the Factory Theatre at Marrickville. As I said, I played the early rave stuff. He played after me, and he was going to play CDJs.
Yep.
And he just got the itch to play vinyl again, funny enough, and absolutely crushed it. Like he's a very competent DJ, mate. Don't worry about it, right? And just held the crowd like he'd never
left.
Yeah. So the hardcore bugs bit him again. He's right back in the mix, and he's actually a bit of promo for you, Luke. He's put out a mix CD that's out at the moment. Yeah, so if people have a look for that.
Arrive in the mail.
There you go. Yeah,
Excellent.
And I had all his old mixtapes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Luke was good. Vegas was huge. George Vegas, end of 94, 95. He's one bloke. Now I credit myself as a bit of a hardcore nerd, especially with the old school stuff. There's not much I don't know.
Yep.
He is one bloke. Didn't matter. He would always play at least one track in a set where I'm like, what is that?
Mm.
He always had the grouse tracks, that bloke. He was right up there, George. And a character too.
We've heard some stories.
yes, but good bloke. As far as overseas DJs, I always had a lot of time for Omar Santana. Always had a lot of time for Buzz Fuzz.
Oh,
Right.
top 5 for me, them too.
Lady Dana's in there. As far as like her, she was great. I'm really, if you like the way Lady Dana used to play, it's very similar to the way I sort of play, like that sort of style. So as soon as I heard her, she was right up my alley. I got a lot of time for her. Tellurian Leviathan, of course. Great.
Fantastic.
Great, he's a great producer, DJ. Look, Lenny D, of course. Look, I could go through a bunch of the old ones, and it had a huge influence on me,
Yeah.
I'll tell you who my favourite one is, but overall, DJ Vince.
Oh, yeah.
He is an absolute
Shadowlands
weapon.
Terrace.
Thank you,
Yeah.
right? So Shadowlands Terrace was Vince, JDA, and Zany, before Zany obviously went over to hardstyle, but back in the day, they were Shadowlands. If you look on Discogs now at Shadowlands Records, they go for a fortune. It was quality gear, right?
Yep.
DJ Vince, he is the DJ's DJ. I take my hat. He's just he's on another level, man. He's one who can competently mix a wide variety of genres into one set, and it just sounds right. Buzz Fuzz is another one that can do it, right?
Yep.
But there's a lot that have tried and struggle. Go onto YouTube if ever you want to look at he's got a bunch of sets he's done, DJ Vince. They're just phenomenal, man. Like when I'm in the gym, I'll put them on and just leave them on all day, and they're entertaining. They're really entertaining. Like there's tracks you don't know. There's the way he mixes. He's really really good. So he's my favorite. But yeah, all the other ones I mentioned, they've had some influence over me at some stage. Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
What are some of the first hardcore records you bought? If you can remember?
No, I can. I remember the first two I bought. Rotterdam Records. One was Neophyte, Noise is the Message.
Yep.
I am a Rotterdam Gabber.
Yep. I am a Rotterdam
I remember the first time I heard that track. It was just spot on, right?
So good.
That whole record's tight.
Yeah.
And another Rotterdam one, King Dale, Fuckface. You know that one? Hey, Ward, you want to be my fuckface? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that track when it came out. So they were the first two I bought. I was right into Dwarf Records back then, so I bought a bunch of Dwarf ones I remember early on. One of the first ones I played to death was the Neophyte 50th Rotterdam one. You know, the one with the Execute and that?
Execute. It's got the Neophyte on the front. It's got his label on the front.
Yeah, right? Mate, the whole record is spot on, right?
Yep.
That I flogged to death. That was one of the first ones I flogged to death. I tell you as well.
It got
too.
repressed last year or the year before, I think.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a clean copy of it.
Yeah, mate, every track on that spot on.
Mm.
How did I get them? I think a mate owed me money or something, right? So for whatever reason, he's given me a bunch of his records. In those records was Bloody Fist #1.
Ooh.
Boost.
Mouse Records #1, also Nuss and Gluten.
Yep.
You should have seen these records, man, right? So Bloody Fist 1. I had people's phone numbers written on it. The record looked like somebody hit it with a belt sander, right?
Yeah.
So one time when I was doing a tough, I needed money. I spoke to a bloke and he goes, you know they go for stupid money on Discogs. And I said, what are we talking? He goes, stupid money, right? I said, well, what are we talking stupid money? So he said, put them up for $1,000, right?
Yep.
He said, if you don't get a hit in a couple of weeks or whatever, drop the price 100 a week until somebody goes, I guarantee someone will pick it up for good coin, right? So I put these records up, the Mouse one and the Bloody Fist one, pretty much. I think it was that night.
Instantly.
I get an email from a bloke in Holland, right? Dude, I really want these records, man. I'll pay you full price. I don't know. I said, hang on a minute, Bart. Did you see where I've put on the notes, not in the best condition?
Yeah.
He goes, look, man, as long as it's playable, I'm cool. I said, okay, let me take a couple of photos and send you a video of it playing, right? It popped and cracked and fizzed, but it didn't jump, right? All the tracks played all the way through. He said, yeah, when can you send them?
It was only 100 of them allegedly. So.
Yeah, 102.
102.
Mine was mine. So whoever the collector's out there that's got 54 out of 102, that was originally mine. So yeah, it ended up working out to it was €1,000 he gave me for both. So about $1,500 Australian, which got me out of a lot of trouble. But yeah, that's you know. You hear these DJs that have spent their life savings on records and that. It's good to get one back every now and then.
Yeah.
That was one, yeah.
100%.
You know, like,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, I've spent a fortune on bloody records, so I've been on the other end of that deal a number of times. So to be the one that actually got good money for it, sad to see him go, obviously.
Yep.
But at that kind of money at the time, I just couldn't say no, you know. So again, like we were saying before, the ones you regret, but yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you've touched on it already, but what's your favorite era of hardcore and why?
Look, definitely the classic style, 95 to 97. That's the style I predominantly came up on. I like that style. I like Millennium stuff. I like speedcore. I like old Frenchcore, the old Radium and Tuum stuff and that, which was similar to that.
The original Frenchcore.
Yeah,
Yep.
but see, I'll play stuff in a variety. I'll even, like, the last set I played had a big mix of styles in. But the one I always come back to is the old style, man, is the old school. It's, you know, like the, so I'm talking, if you're going on the Thunderdome CDs, probably from like 11 to 19, that sort of era, right? And as I said in a video I made a few weeks ago, that was how we found out what was coming out. So there was no SoundCloud, there was no internet, there was nothing in those days. So the Thunderdome CDs had come out. You'd buy the Thunderdome CD, you'd go, oh, this track's a burner, you know?
Yeah.
You'd hang for it to come out, and then the second it was in the shop, they'd call, yeah, it's in here, bang, you'd be there that day and buy them, you know? So that was the process back then. But yeah, like what Richie was saying before, you never lose that excitement when you find a record.
100%, man.
You know the feeling, you just get it, and you look around to make sure nobody else saw it. Like,
I start sweating and
I
stuff.
get the goosebumps.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
massive, isn't it? Yeah.
Cold, yeah.
A few people have said that to me before. You okay, man? I said, I've never been better. You know, like they look at you, you're like that. I want to buy this record, please, mate. And they're like, are you okay, mate? Mate, I've never been better. Just take my money.
Yeah,
right.
really run.
Yeah, but so how I've accumulated records over the years. Obviously, bought a lot from the shops. One of the DJs I mentioned before, DJ Chuck, who was in AGU,
Yep.
he ended up getting married and, you know, moving on and stuff like that. So after a lot of procrastinating and convincing, he sold me his records.
Nice.
So I got a lot of really, really good ones from that. There was also a Dutch site years ago. I just can't remember what it was called. It's terrible of me because I bought so many friggin' records
Yeah,
from
there's
him.
been a few that have come and gone.
Oh, what was it, man?
I lose hard drive space after a while, man.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. If it comes back, I'll say it later. But yeah, there was actually a Dutch site where the bloke used to buy other people's collections and then sell them on secondhand. So that was how I came across a lot that I didn't get.
Yep.
Yeah. So look, when people say, oh, you know, your collection is that and the other, there aren't too many that I still want that I haven't got now, you know. So, but I'm really digging this new style coming out. The newer old style that they're making now, like
next gen or
they're just
stuff like that. Okay, so
remaking 90s
your
style.
Mockham's, yeah. So they're making the 90s style. Like, there's a record I got the other day, the Mockham one, that Arvid one. Shout out to Arvid because he's on my page, top bloke, young bloke. It's spot on. Like, I've flogged it to death already. Like, yeah, and it'll be in my upcoming sets too. So yeah. But I threw a mix up a couple of weeks ago just of some of the newer records I bought, and it's in that and all that kind of stuff. But that kind of style that I threw up, I'm really into at the moment. It's after 30 years to see it come back, you know, like it's
It's pretty special.
I never left, right? I never left it, but other people have moved on with other styles. There's been industrial, there's been this, there's been, you know, and people move on with certain styles and forget the old, you know. And I remember even at times people said, why are you still playing that old shit for, you know? And I said, mate,
it's a cooler.
I'm still not over it, you know.
Yeah.
Then when you know it comes back in, it's sort of like what's the word I'm after? It's satisfying, you know. Like you're like, see,
100%.
I told you all along, right?
Yeah, it always comes back.
Yeah,
The good stuff does.
yeah. And look, just as I was saying before, why it's my preferred style. Of course, I taught myself how to mix on that style. That's the style I play the best. You know, that cut and chop style, it just works perfectly with that old school stuff, samples and hi-hats and kicks and just bop, you know, like. So in my head, you know, I'm doing the mix in my head as I'm doing it. It's you know,
Your head's always running at 180.
Yeah,
180 BPM.
and my hands are trying to keep up. You see sometimes in the videos and that, you'll even see me, I'll quickly, oh shit. You know, because it's going in the head and you're like, oh no, you got to do that, mate. It's not just in your head. You know? So, yeah.
Well, since we're talking about it, do you want to show us some of these records that you speak of?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, show some favorites.
Yeah. Wait, excuse me. Now this one, that's my signature track. So every single set at the end of it, I play this one. It's a speedcore one. So this was Industrial Strength Europe, which had I think 5 or 6 releases, late 90s. This record is, it goes for big money, and every track on it is just killer. It's flat out speedcore.
Can I see?
Yeah, go for it.
Man. I haven't got this one.
So it's the track that I play on. It's Ready to Attack. So you remember the Fear Factory one they had on Mockham?
I am ready to
There you
attack.
go. All right, so that vocal sample's on that. The machine is now alive to wreak havoc in your life.
Thank you.
There's no use to hold me back. I am ready to attack.
Right.
This track, Bart, beautiful. It's my favorite track.
It's a signature.
Perfect, yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, like the old Industrial Strength ones, like, you know, DOA. I had
That's a must-have.
huge. Look at the dust coming on.
Shine box on there.
Delta Knight, I'm a huge fan of.
Yep, same.
Delta Knight,
Know that.
yeah.
So yeah, this is also one of my favourite records ever. So UVC, that's Sal Mineo, and was it Carl Carsini as well? I think possibly. No, just Sal Mineo, who again is a top bloke as well. I used to have him on my Facebook. I don't know, I've just lost contact with him over the years, but this is a quality record. UVC, everybody, yeah.
I have a very clean copy of that.
Yeah, every track on it. Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% right.
It's spot on, isn't it? Yeah. This is I've got a real soft spot for this one. Yeah. Now, as far as so this was the old sort of Frenchcore stuff I was talking about. You know, this one, Drop the Beast.
Yeah.
Drop the Beast. I play this flat out. So old Radium, the Nihilist is Radium as well.
Yeah.
Radium and Tium, like this stuff. This label was cool.
I
Arena,
don't think I've heard that one.
mate.
That one?
Good. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
This good.
Where can we hear these tracks? When are you playing next so we can maybe hear
All right.
a little bit about this? Are you allowed to say?
I've got a couple of sets coming up.
Don't forget the mic.
Yeah, sorry. I've got a couple of sets coming up. I've got Core Apocalypse. Let me get the dates right. 11th of October.
11th of October.
Yep. He's actually doing a deal on that for people that didn't get refunds from another party. I think it was the Freak Show one. He's offering free entry.
Oh, okay.
Just as something nice to do for people who have missed out on.
Yeah, shout out Corey.
Excuse me, on something else. Yep, shout out to Corey. I also know he's been in Europe for the last couple of weeks and he's still there at the moment networking for gigs for next year.
Nice.
Yep.
So there's been some names chucked up, some really good names. So yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to get him on here when he comes back.
Yeah,
He said he would.
yep,
Yeah.
top bloke.
Shout out Corey.
Shout out to Corey. I work with Corey flat out. SHN Sydney Hardcore Network. I've got my own little. I put on a event earlier in the year with Death Machine. I called it Dragon Punch Productions.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm a big Street Fighter 2 fan.
Did you see the machine behind you?
I'll kick anybody's ass in here.
I'll give you a go. I'll give you a crack.
I'll even take the shit side.
What's this about?
Yeah.
The left, the right side, yeah.
Mate, that's where I spent all of year 8.
Oh, nice.
Mum, I was at school. The video machine was at school, Mum. 100 and something days off in.
Wow, that's good effort.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did close that in year 11.
Yeah. So that was another one of my obsessions, Street Fighter 2. I'm still obsessed with that. I've got one of those Pandora's boxes things at home for the 3,000 games. So every now and again I get bored and it's all you get, you know.
Throw it on.
So yeah, that was mine. I still want to put on a few more, but I'm just in. There's no huge hurry as far as I'm concerned. This year I've had things going on, so money and time haven't allowed.
Yep.
But next year I've freed up some more time, and hopefully I'll be a little bit more financial. So I've got a couple of ideas of my own. But as far as I said, I work with anybody whose heart's in it for the right reasons, man. I love this scene. I love this music. I don't want it to go anywhere. So anybody I can help who asks me, I do. So,
Bless you, bro. Bless you.
no, but it was like I was saying to you boys before. When everybody gets along, everybody prospers out of it, and that's the deal, man. Everybody, you know, we're all in it for the same reasons, man. So we need to find a way to make it work for everybody, and this is sort of what I do, you know. Like I've had people that didn't know other people, and I link them up and stuff like that, you know, just sort of sceney stuff, you know. Yep. Because I've been around for ages, I might know a bloke from years ago that this bloke doesn't know, or so, and it'd be in their best interest to touch base, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, even though I'm not directly putting them on myself at the moment, I do have an involvement with them. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still with the records.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That'd be my favourite old school one. All right.
That's the only house one I don't have.
It's the best one.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Lords of
I
the
like
Underworld,
Cypress
man.
Dope, but yeah.
Yeah. That's Gizmaniacs.
Sorry. Hellsound. That's
So you're thinking,
yeah.
mate, it's got there's Rob G's on that one. Ecstasy got what I need.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
DJ Promo Psycho Style. Once a funky child, now the kids going wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that one? It's a good track. I'll just think of it in a second.
Please put down your weapons.
That's Cool Man. That's
Cool Man
DJ
as well.
Rub. DJ
I'll
Rub.
get him
Yeah, I'll
right.
play that one flat out too. I love Cool Man records.
love it.
Cool Man, Rotterdam, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? Natural Born Killer. I'm a natural born
Natural
killer.
Born.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
on this as well. Yeah. No, it was a top label. This one.
I'll have it by the end of the week.
Yeah, I've got 3 copies of this. I've even got a white label of it in there.
Nice.
This is my So because I played flat out, I need it. Yeah. So what else in there? Yeah, the rest are pretty much similar. It's just old speed cool ones and stuff like that. And yeah, they're all my favourite ones that never leave the box. Other ones get added to it, but they never leave.
Man. Have you had them since new, you reckon?
Most of them, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. As you see, I'm pretty nerdy with them. I look after them.
You have to.
But
Good, yeah.
being a DJ, they do get cane. They get cane, man. When I play, because I'm loading them up fast, I don't put them back in the cover. I just chuck them straight back in the box.
There's no time sometimes.
No, that's how I am. And then I put it at the end of the set. Then I put them all back in. You know,
Yeah.
but they'll get scratched up. They get scuffed, stuff like that. That's just being a DJ. But yeah, a lot of my collection that I don't actually play out is in tip-top nick. It's all in mint condition. You know,
Yeah.
So it's only the ones that I play flat out that are a little bit fresh. But I usually buy a couple of copies of them if I can.
That's why you need 2 or 3
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Backups.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what's the craziest thing that you've seen at a rave? Either when you were DJing or just being in rave, being up amongst it, in amongst it.
I had something.
Do you have a yarn you want to spin with us?
Let me get back to you on that one because there was so I was thinking of something before and I just can't think of it because you put me on the spot now.
That's all right. That's all
But
right.
yeah, look, do you want me to tell you about those ones I was saying before that just popped up?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so I've mentioned these raves before, the Ecky Thump ones. I'll put on by Jim Jams and Aladdin, who's Rod Richards, who now has gone on to bigger and better things. So this is where they sort of cut their teeth. So in 1995, these were underground. So there was no number to ring.
Yeah, so for the kids at home,
Yeah.
they understand.
Okay, so right, for the kids at home, back in those days, we got the flyer, you know, so usually as I said, because they were week in, week out, the end of the rave, as you'd be leaving, there'd be other promoters there handing out their flyers, right? So you get the flyer and they'd have a 0055 number, which is, what are they these days, 1900 or 1800 or whatever the toll numbers are. Yeah. So back in those days, they were 0055, right? What they used to do was, but they'd have a throw-off number as well. So only the people who knew what was going on knew the right number to ring, and the throw-off number would be a totally different address, right? So they'd give that, if ever police got involved or anything like that, right? So yeah, you get your flyer, 0055 number, you'd ring up where it was, you'd buy your ticket, et cetera, et cetera. These Ecky Thump ones, there was none of that. A couple of flyers got passed around to people who were in the know. You needed the flyer to get in. That was pretty much your ticket. So the first one was in, as I said, the wheat silos at Glebe, which was just crazy. I still don't know how he pulled that off. But anyway, the second one, this is the one I was mentioning before, it was just what the scene was like in those days, why it was so exciting. So I remember a couple of weeks before it, mate, you're going to the Ecky Thump, And I said, where is it this time? And he said, nobody knows yet, but we've got to meet up at a certain place and they'll take us, right? So back in those days, it used to be Town Hall Steps because that's where all the trains went to, so wherever you went, if it was in town, you'd walk to it. If it was, out west, you'd get the train. And so, everybody met up there. So we're there at about 8 or 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Whole bunch of people, ravers sitting on the stairs, just sort of waiting, what's going on, So these two blokes turn up. They're like, okay, follow us. So we're all, okay. So we all follow this big group of people walking through the city, right?
Yep.
We go down George Street, turn down near Central, and we go down to, where the golf shop is on...
Oh, yeah, the old
What's
sign?
that? It goes under the railway tunnel there. It's just a little street. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it was there, right? So it was this big old car park. It's not there anymore. And there was a security guard in there. He had his car parked. So what they did was someone went and parked their car in, so it looked like somebody was still in the office. Yeah. So the security guards come out, and because the car was still there, he didn't lock the gate. He just shut it. So we've waited till the security guard's gone, then all of a sudden they've gone, all right, we're right to go. So Jim Jams has put a table down. It was $10. He showed the flyer, $10 in. It was 4 levels down in this car park. It went till like 5 a.m. It was just... it was outstanding, man.
It was nuts.
Yeah, it was so good. And then, at about 5 a.m, we got the word, the coppers are coming. Like, the main police centre is just up the road. Like, It took them till, 5 or 6 before they actually got their act together to come and shut it down. But by that time, we were all gone anyway. But there's something I remember from that night. I remember Jeff the chef. He played just a burner set. He used to play that old school stuff too. This was before he was in there, all the speedcore and all that kind of stuff. I remember, Terror Tracks 19? Being in Love Really Sucks, Stun Guys.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
That had just come out. I'll never forget when he dropped it and everyone just went mad. It was, memories of that are just stuck in my head. So when I'm playing this stuff, I'm reliving that stuff. That's why I never get over it, So it's a little party in my head, whether you like it or not, Yeah,
the tracks to me still sound the same as they did the first time I heard them.
They've got a shelf life. This is what I say to people. Okay, this is when people sort of want to compare the quality of music, I'm not going to say it was better, but the quality control was better, right? How that was record labels. Record labels were underground. They only had limited runs. They didn't have money to waste on things that didn't sell, right?
Yep.
So say I ran a record label, Rich, and you sent me a tape saying, all right, this is my demo. I'd listen to the tape. I'd say, yeah, man, it's pretty cool. Try fixing this, do a bit of that, master this, da-da-da-da, send it back and we'll see how you go, right? So you tidy it up, send it back. You say, okay, I'll put you on a B-side or something like that, or we'll give you a remix or something, see how that goes.
Yep.
If that record sold, you'd get your own release, you'd get your own, and so on and so forth. And that was the quality control back then. So unless it was good enough to be pressed up and sold, it just never saw the light of day. Where these days you can get yourself a SoundCloud account, you can make total trash, go and buy 10,000 bot followers, give yourself instant credibility, which isn't true anyway, and all of a sudden people go, this guy's really good. They're not, right? I'm not bagging anyone in particular. I'm just saying this is the difference I'm just, as an observer, what I reckon, my opinion, the difference is in the quality. So these days, of course, there's still quality stuff coming out. The production these days is off the chart, but they're mixed in with that. There's a lot of crap that has no real shelf life. You listen to once or twice and you're like, yeah, righto, next.
I'm over it.
Right, where this, 30 years later, we're still playing it like it was day one.
100%.
So I say to people, how you judge the quality of music is, do you reckon this particular track you're listening to now, you're going to listen to in 30 years' time? I don't think so, man. right? And and then people, okay, well that makes sense, you know. So
Yeah.
so that's why I reckon this stuff was so hot and why it had such a shelf life. As I said, things are only original once, you know. So this was the original style, as I said. The ideas were fresh. It was, you know, like and styles move and go different directions. But yeah, at that time it was hot and it was the most popular it was.
Yep.
So there was money involved. There was, you know, so the quality got better and better and better. And as I said, ID&T, they were just a machine back then. They were an absolute machine. So for people who don't know who ID&T are, they were Ian Duncan and Theo. So whenever you used to see the old Thunderdome logo, you'd see ID&T under it, which was the company that owned them.
Yep.
They started in 92, just from small beginnings, humble beginnings, you know. So Duncan was Duncan Stutterheim, who was also a DJ as well. I'm pretty sure, if I'm wrong, somebody mention in the comments and say I'm a dickhead, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. Anyway, so he was a DJ himself and sort of into the scene, and that's how they got into it. And they just snowballed it, and they got it right from the start. By 95, 96, they were the driving force in world hardcore. Like, everybody knew Thunderdome. Everybody, yeah. As I said, the 97 Mysteryland still has the record for the biggest rave ever, 100,000 people.
Oof.
They pulled the Mysteryland, you know? Like, so that was,
numbers.
yeah. You know, and that was, I'm pretty sure that was indoor too. Like, what kind
Indoor?
of, I think so, yeah. Well, I've got the video. I've got the video at home, and I'm 99% sure it says Mysteryland indoor. Like, and I'm from what I remember of the video, it's indoor too, but you just
Must
see
have been
it.
multiple rooms.
It's just a sea of people, man. Like, you're just like, oh my God. Like, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What message would you have for like young ravers? Back when we were raving, there wasn't that many internationals. You go for the locals, right?
Right.
Now, obviously, seeing things change, scene changes, and a lot of I've seen like a lot of younger ravers support the bigger parties only, and they don't really support the smaller parties.
Look, there's even an element here that go to parties overseas that don't go to the local ones. Look, I'm not bagging people, but I know that's where it comes from. That's where it's big. We all want to go there. We all want that here, but it's not, right? And trying to make that, it just sends people broke. Unfortunately, I remember when we started going down this whole international sort of road. Yeah, they used to come out in the old days, but it was, you know, a few a year, and it was only one per event, and the events were big enough to pay for them, right? Where these days, you know, people are going to these bigger events, you know, like your HSU ones and stuff like that. They're getting just, you know, these massive lineups of internationals and stuff, but you're paying a fortune for it, right?
Yep.
So that kind of scale can support that. They're getting big crowds. They're paying big money. They can, right? These littler blokes, 9 times out of 10, as you guys know, they lose money.
They're doing it for the love.
They're doing it, yeah, for the love of the game, right?
Yep.
So what happens when people start saying, oh, well, I'm not going to that party unless it's got 3 internationals and it's $40 or so? It's just not doable, man. No, it's not, Bart. And you're holding out thinking it's going to happen. You're just missing out. It's just going to pass you by. So, okay, it'd be cool to go to Holland and go to the parties once a year and all that kind of stuff. But what about the rest of the year? If I love hardcore, I want to be around it. I want to hear it. I want to go see the people involved with it. Absolutely. You know, so yeah, invest in your local scene. That's one thing I understand it, where it's come from. But yeah, I've said that before. The newer ones, the local scene, it's almost like it gets glossed over. Man, we've got some world-class talent here, man. We always have. Like, I mean, when I first got into it, I remember Darren Kelly was from Australia. Or Darren, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but anyway, yeah, he's still he's still in Holland.
We were talking about him the other day.
Yeah. Timon, who was a friend of ours, ex-DJ C-Trix.
Shout out Tim.
Shout out to Timon. Hope you're well, brother. And I know he won't mind me telling him this, but when he was coming up and starting getting into the producing, if it wasn't for the local gigs for him to go and try and I don't think he would have ever got to the point where he got signed and was able to go overseas. Yep. So he always had great production techniques and ideas in his head.
Yep.
He'd come around to my place and go, "Oh, I just made this track. Listen to this."
Yep.
And you know, it was cool, man. Like I remember he was trying a bunch of new stuff, and there was some really cool little production techniques, and he was using threadbare gear, man. Like we're not talking state of the art equipment. We're talking what he could get his hands on, which wasn't much in those days, right? And then, as I said, when he started sending off to to Lenny and stuff like that, and actually got the deal, if he hadn't have been able to sort of test the waters here and see what worked and what didn't, I don't know if he would have ever got to that level where he would have got signed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, back in those days, I'm talking that was sort of mid 2000s.
He had a decent following here.
Yeah, he did, and we still had a scene that accommodated a gig every fortnight ish. You know. Where these days, nah, man, you'll put one on and it'll be, really good. And then you'll put one on a few weeks later and nobody goes. Like,
Absolutely.
that poor bloke goes broke and he never does it again. And then people say, oh, well, there's nothing on, You can't have it both ways, but. So I know people that could have come to parties or events for whatever reason, didn't go.
Yep.
Say another 20 people decide the same thing. That's a big hole in that crowd. When you're going to parties that have 50, 100, 150 people, 20 people's a big deal.
Yep.
Right?
Make or break something.
Yeah, it can. It does, So by you not going, what that chances are, the bloke who's put it on, he's not going to get his money back for what he's done. He's going to fail and he can't do another one. So then when you sit there and whinge, oh, there's nothing on, well, when there is, you don't go anyway. Like, so.
Well, I try and go.
I'm not bagging, again, I'm not bagging anyone. I'm not, it's just, from my observation of.
Yeah. It's a fair point because I think a lot of people out there need to know, especially the people that only go to the bigger parties, is that big international you're going out for used to be a bedroom DJ.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's how they got their
need that
start.
support.
Yes,
like
sir.
you said with Tim on, if he didn't have that early support,
Yep.
he might not be where he is now.
Absolutely.
How well he progressed.
Yeah.
So all the little, smaller parties need that support.
And as I said, it's not like you're going to watch bums.
Absolutely. No.
I mean,
world-class
no, they're
DJs,
awesome.
they can mix.
all right. So you've got Tyson and Spindo putting on these Paradox ones. In the industrial world, Tyson's top shelf. No, he's top shelf. He's releasing on Industrial Strength, which is the top label, which is what Timon's on.
Yep.
He's recently been to Japan and he's brought an artist back. It's like a cultural exchange,
That's
But
right,
but what I mean is, it's opening up. He's popular there. They know him there. Where people here won't even go and watch him. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, it's not like just because the price is cheap doesn't mean the quality's low. Is what I'm saying. So. You'll see these parties, $20, $25. Oh, yeah, well, I'll brush it. It's only a bunch of locals. Man, there's some of the best ones I've been to. Seriously. And the ones where quite often you're not expecting that much, they're the ones that take you a bit by surprise. You're like, you know what? That was really good. Like,
It's about the music anyway.
Isn't it? And if you're into the music, you're already there for that anyway, and the rest is a bonus, isn't it? So that's the way I've always seen it. The event and the party's the bonus of it if you're into the music, because that's going to get you there anyway, So, yeah.
Yeah. Funnily enough, you're talking about Thunderdome before, and you pointed out one of the flyers up there.
Yeah, the Earthquake one, 97.
You happened to bring some sort of
I did.
collectible thing.
So my birthday's actually in January. Oh, I'm a stubborn Capricorn. So that was, I think it was like, what does it say there? 25th of January. There you go. It was a couple of weeks after my birthday.
Yeah.
So I remember my girlfriend at the time and another mate, just obviously, because they had a merch stand there. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with that party, Earthquake was the harder edge of Thunderdome. That was like so they had their own series of CDs and records and all that kind of stuff. And it was all the same artists. It was just more the harder stuff where Thunderdome had sort of, it'd have Happy Hard at the start.
Bit more playful.
Yeah, 94. Yeah. So it was a sort of harder level. So that one was Predator, Prophet, and the Dark Raver, I'm pretty sure. So
horrible lineup.
Yeah, yeah. So you can imagine, you can imagine they had the drag us there kicking and screaming, right?
100%.
Anyway, yeah. So we went to that one, and because being my birthday, they bought me this. So this is actually an original from made in '96, obviously.
Oh wow.
This is your original bomber jacket. I better model it, I suppose.
Yeah, may as well. You've kept it in good nick, bro.
All right, there's a story to this one too. See, I've got the new ones. One of the new ones, they're cut totally different. See how this is real puffy, The newer ones are sort of flatter and stuff. I like the way the new ones are cut, but these were cool. Like,
Yeah, man.
So let me just do a spin.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So this is an original. This is worth a fortune. I probably God knows what I get for this these days. But another time when I was doing it tough,
It was brand new, man. Oh, not brand new, but
my brother bought it off me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't want it going anywhere. And then last year,
Microphone.
oh shit, sorry. And then last year,
Sorry, who bought it off you?
my brother.
Yeah.
Again, when I was doing a tough one time, and he said, "Oh, I'll buy your jacket off you," Like, yeah, all right. So I sold him the jacket. This was years ago. He gave it back to me last year.
Oh,
nice.
champion,
There you
bro.
go.
Present.
Sick cunt.
Good on him.
Shout out to my brother.
Shout out.
You're still a dickhead, but
Thanks for the jacket.
yeah, it's so in my lounge room. This sits with the new one. They sit together.
You're mad.
Yeah,
Would you say that's your most prized possession?
it's up there. I've got the Rotterdams like
Oh, yeah.
our friend here. They're hot.
Yep.
There was actually another record I should have brought. It was made by Buzz Fuzz and The Prophet. It was actually a diss record for Charlie Low Noise and Mental Theo. So it was called
Yes. What's that called?
Harry No Voice and Genital Dio.
All right.
Kiss Your Fucking Ears Goodbye. So,
Yeah.
So where I first heard the track was that DJ I mentioned before, Chuck, who I bought his records. He had a mixtape with Times 2 called Fuck 'em, and it had like the Mock 'em thing on it.
Yeah, I've still got that at home.
Oh man, I played that to death. I was already into hardcore, but that just sealed the deal, Sorry, yeah. That just sealed the deal, that tape. The first track on that tape was that. It was as the sample goes, and he's crippled bitch. Charlie Low Noise, Mental Theo, fuck, and he's crippled bitch. And that's an old Ice-T sample. And it been into the hip hop straight. I'm like, this is cool. I chased that track forever. It's really hard to get. So it's a single-sided record, and it's got engraved on the other side, Kiss Your Fucking Ears Goodbye, because that was one of their records Charlie Low Noise and Mental Theo had.
Yep.
I'm still not sure what the drama was with the diss. I know that they ended up moving on, Charlie Low Noise and Mental Theo, so I don't know, but yeah, that was obviously. But that record, it's really, really rare and hard to get. So
that's always been expensive.
Yeah.
Memory,
So I've got that one. That's one of my proud ones. As I said, the old Flyers.
What about anything autographed? Do you have anything autographed?
This hat.
Yeah.
This got a story. So when I went to Thunderdome in 2017, the 25-year anniversary one, me and my partner at the time, we went to the Rage factory in Rotterdam.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was unreal.
What's that? We don't know.
Rage, Rage, the big
Rage,
rave? Or Rage, whatever.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Is it Rage?
I don't know. I was going to ask
Anyway,
you.
I think it's Rage because I've heard Paul Elstak say that, so I'm just
years.
copying him, yeah. So what was I saying with that again?
You went to the factory.
Right, so we went there and I bought this hat.
Yeah.
I love Rotterdam. I've always had a thing for Rotterdam, got a photo outside the station and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
So, I love this hat and I haven't seen it for sale since, so, yeah.
Nice.
Just little things like that, they've got good memories
They're
and stuff.
special,
Yeah. So there's somebody else that look at it and go, that's just a shitty hat, but to me, it's got a bit of a memory and all that.
I know exactly what it means straight away when I see it.
Yeah. So, stuff like that. I mean, I've got little, old ticket stubs, just, stuff from over the years you've accumulated and they've got good memories too. But yeah, this is one of the favourites, yeah. It's definitely up there.
All right. Well, speaking about collectibles and since we got a Rigididge, shoe collector, enthusiast. And
okay, so the sneakers, we'll say before, I remember when 95 is my go-to shoe, Air Max 95s. They're just in a class of their own. I remember when they first came out, they changed the game. As I was saying to the boys before, there was, in 94, the Air Max 94s, if you look them up, they were sad, man. They were crap. So I remember we're waiting for better ones to come out.
Yep.
So the 93s we didn't mind.
Yep.
The BWs, obviously, the 91s were unreal. So they changed the game as far as Air Max were concerned. If you there's a movie about Jordan when Nike signed Jordan. I think it's called Air.
Yep.
I watched it recently. I knew this, but not to this extent. They had a really poor market share.
Mm-hmm.
Nike before they signed Jordan and started making Air Max.
Yes.
They were just a crappy brand, man. Adidas was the one.
Yep.
So all the players were wearing Adidas and, funny enough, Converse.
Yep.
Right.
So I think in the movie they said something like Nike had a 19% market share or 13% or some crappy thing like that, right? So signing Jordan was their sports angle to start pumping the shoes, and you saw where that went, right? So then when they started with the Air Max, the first couple of models came out. They weren't that popular, but I remember 91 when the BWs came out, as I said, man, they were hot and people were getting them taken off their feet. So then, as I said, the 93s were cool. They were, we didn't mind them, but they'll take or leave them sort of thing.
Yep.
94 were just sad. We're like, mate, so they were sort of dropping off. I remember we went into a shop and the bloke goes, man, I've got the Nike catalogue for what's coming out next year. Check these out. So he showed me. I'll never forget them. They were those colours that George has got on there, the original neons. Yeah. Back then, as I said, they were made in Korea. They were totally different make. They were, there was a bloke who designed them, Serge Lozano. So they're actually meant to be like the human body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you read up on it, there's a whole thing about it.
I've never read about them. No.
Oh, mate, the design that went into this was huge. Like they were a game changer.
Yeah.
So, and as I said, they were the first ones that had the air bubbles at the front. So that's got our attention straight away. He's turned to this page and he's gone, look at these. They're coming out next year. And it said Air Max 95 and it had the colour. And I'm like, oh my God. I remember when they came out, man, people went nuts over them. They just, they changed the game.
Yeah.
So much air.
Yeah. I don't mind 97s. I got a pair of 98 Gundams.
Nice.
Yes, yeah. I got off eBay for $150 and they're legit.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
good old eBay. Shout out to eBay.
Some steals.
Yeah, I never really got into the TNs too much.
Yeah.
As I said, I was already into the 95s and all of that kind of stuff, and they didn't come out till I think 97, 98-ish. I don't mind them. They're just really not my style. I've got one pair of the Lacoste ones.
Are they
green and
are they
white.
an official pair?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
They go for silly money, so
Yeah.
that I'm not sure. And I don't mind the Vapor Max, the TN Vapor Max.
Oh, they're interesting. They're good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I bought a pair cheap one time just because they were cheap, and my God, they're
Comfort levels are through the roof.
unbelievable. The only problem is, but because they have no sole, that's just hardened sort of hardened rubber at the bottom of the air bubble thing. Once that wears out, they're gone. They're finished.
Yeah.
So they don't have the same sort of shelf life that these ones do. You know, so they're done and dusted about a year or so. But God, they're comfortable.
What colorway are they, bro?
This is
If you remember.
okay. So these are I can't remember. They're the cork ones. Made from some percentage of cork.
Oh, yeah.
How I choose what I wear.
Yeah.
Shoes, we've got to match the shirt, as we know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So usually I choose the shirt first, and then whatever shirt I want to wear, I match the shoes up. So if it's black with like this Burberry pattern here, these are my Burberry matching shoes,
Oh, lovely.
right?
That's combo.
If I'm wearing like an all green shirt, then it'll be green shoes, all blue, etc., etc. But so I've got about 30 pairs, I think now.
Yeah, I've been late to many parties before because I can't find the bloody shirt to match my bloody shoes.
Yeah, well, that's why I had to drive here a bit faster.
So was you doing the burnouts?
But yeah, no, I've always had a thing for Air Max, mate.
Yeah, I
big
sold my
fan.
soul when I was young.
Yeah. If anyone's seen the comics, Swiss guy, I think he's Swiss, Jonas Cazzone or whatever.
I haven't seen him.
He made comics like graffiti style and they're fucking cool, man. If you see when I'm doing the mixes on my videos, if you look up on my wall, I've got a bunch of pictures.
I have seen those.
That's what they all are. They're his Air Max comics.
Oh, man.
They're cool, man. I've got everyone that comes in goes, where did you get that?
What
Like,
are they about?
just you can look him up. He's on Instagram.
Yep.
You can buy I think the comics are all sold out now, man.
I'm sure
But,
eBay will hook me up.
Yeah, but I think he had a book as well, which is where I've obviously got the images from. So I think he had. I can't remember exactly where they came from, but everybody that sees him goes, "Wow, that's cool." Yeah. So that's I've got a sort of like a Air Max shrine on my wall, and
Nice.
yeah. Well, I'm not married and don't have kids, so I'm Peter Pan. I don't have to grow up because no one made me. You know.
Yeah. That's the goal, man. Just to be Peter Pan all your life.
Oh, look, you know, like, just going on another sort of thing, you know, like a lot of people just sort of don't do what they want in life. They do what they think society expects of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never had that burden.
You don't know what that means.
I do whatever I want when I want, man. It's, a lot more benign things than they used to be, you know, but it's that's just how it is for me, I suppose. No misses and no kids, a lot more freedom to do whatever you want.
100%, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What can we expect from you in the future?
what's
What have you
coming
got
up?
going
All
on?
right, so as I said, we've got the Core Apocalypse on. When did I say that was? 11th of October. The month after, Children of Hardcore again. So that's going to be huge. Anyone who's into the old school, that's an old school event that's happening again. As I said, the last one he had at this venue got 400 people. So it's he's got the 200 plus crew doing the side room as well. So a little bit of variety in that as well. That's the one I told you I'll be playing back to back with Luke.
Nice.
So yeah, I can't wait for that
2
one.
a.m.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the time yet. So, but as I said, as the information comes out, I'll post that all up and all that kind of stuff on my page. And then into early next year, as I said, we've got some plans coming up. Nothing set in concrete yet, but I think next year will be another good year.
Good stuff.
Yeah. We've got a couple of people interested in coming out who I think people will be excited to see. So
That's mad. And if for the people online, where can they catch you?
So my DJ Showboat page on Facebook. That's where I do most of the stuff. I've got an Instagram, but I'm just slack on it. It takes forever to load stuff up on there.
Yeah.
Instagram?
Yeah, so I'll be at work and I'll try and load a video up, and I'll come back an hour later and it's like a quarter of the way done, and then I've got to go home, and I just can't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram's more just for photos and things like that.
So the videos I'll have to get some different content to put up there that doesn't take me as long to put up, but anything you want to know about, it's on my Facebook page, man. I've got a ton of stuff on there. You know, there's videos, mixes, photo, you name it. Anything I've done, it's on there.
Awesome. Man, did you do much live streams or anything like that? Or?
No, I've actually did a couple of videos just the other week, just to announce parties and stuff like that. What I've noticed is that you get a lot more engagement. It's too easy just to scroll past, and I'm quite long-winded when I make posts, so I'll have a post this big and people don't want to read it.
Yeah.
So I thought instead of doing 2 or 3 of those, why don't I just put it all together in a video, and it seemed to work better. So stuff like this, I think there's a real future in,
Absolutely, yeah.
There's a couple of things that, other topics and that as well that I'd like to speak on as well, just in general. So if ever this opportunity came up again, I'd definitely be interested in.
Awesome, man.
As I said, on a few different platforms, but this one especially, as I said, I could talk about this stuff forever. Like,
well, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah,
next
like
time.
that's what people want to hear. They want to hear the
say it, I'm
stories.
here. As I said, I was saying to Rich before when I come in, you just forget that not everybody knows this stuff. Like, it's all in my head, and the people, who are from my era, they know it all. But the time we're speaking of, mid-90s and stuff, a lot of the people in the scene these days, they weren't even born then, so they've heard roughly, bits and pieces, but to actually have somebody sit down and tell them the stories like that, you see they're all ears, and I forget that people are interested in it. So yeah,
definitely. I mean, it all started from somewhere. It's all progressed.
Absolutely.
Look what HSU's doing.
Yeah.
We've had the DEFCONs here. There's other bigger parties coming through as well. But let's not forget about the smaller parties as well. And these are all the stories we're trying to capture. How did it all start? How did we get here? How did hardcore? How did music progress?
Yeah. I'll give you another what you're saying about crazy stories before.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the time I had my first pill. All right. So as I said, it was my knee was shot.
Yep.
That I would have done it in March. This would have been about May, so a couple of months later. So anyway, as I said, with the 0055 numbers, somehow we got the wrong one. Right?
Yeah.
Never happened to us before, but somehow we did. We've gone out to St. Mary's, all right, which is near here. It's a long way from where we're from. We were from the city then. My best mate lived at Surrey Hills and I grew up in Maroubra. So we've caught the train out there. As I said, you could hear it in those days to know where you were going. We couldn't hear anything. So straight away we were like, oh, I wonder where are we lost, So we've got to the address where this place was supposed to be. There's nothing there, all right? So we've got on a public phone and I rang a mate. He said, no, it's in Minto. Now, for the people who don't know the Sydney sort of geographical area, Sydney's a really big city. Like, you can go from the centre of Sydney and drive for an hour in any direction and you'll still be in Sydney, all right? Yeah?
Yep.
So from St. Mary's to Minto, it was a long way, right? So we've got back to the station. Just as we get to the station, the last train's pulling out.
Oh, no.
So for people unfamiliar with the Sydney train system, once the trains stop at midnight, 1 o'clock, they have night rides, buses that go to all the different stations, right? So we've jumped on this bus, me, my best mate, and another mate. We're going through, Mount Druitt and some rougher areas.
Yep.
So this big gang of blokes jumps on. There's about a dozen of them. They've come straight up to us and sort of surrounded us. Me being I grew up on the streets, so I knew what I was doing, right?
Yep.
So I got these blokes on side and actually got them to come to the party with us, right? Little did I know they'd rolled my mate.
just then.
Yeah, for his ticket. But this bloke, he was no warrior, this bloke, So God bless him. But anyway, he didn't tell us that, obviously. So they took his ticket, this, that, and the other. Anyway, we get off at Parramatta Station, and because that's where the night ride finished. And they're like, so where's this thing? We said Minto. And we're like, how are we getting there, So we've started walking, and we walked so you can walk from Parramatta, this sort of goes Harris Park, Granville. Yep. My auntie and cousins at that time lived at Harris Park. So I sort of knew my way around that area a bit. So I said, look, we'll go to Granville and see if we can get the train from there, because I knew the train ran from the Granville line. So or Night Ride or whatever it was. So we've walked from Parramatta to, to Granville. By the time we got there was no buses, nothing. So these blokes have jumped a cab, shouted us. We get there, right? At this rave. Go in, my mate goes, I haven't got my ticket. I said, what do you mean you haven't got your ticket? He goes, they took it off me. I go, what did you tell me, you dickhead? So anyway, we've gone, I've done one of my bluffs. I've got to the front and I'm like, this is my favourite track. Quick, get in there. Like, yeah, get in there, mate, get in there, right? So I've gone running and I pushed my mate in and he got in, right? We got him in like that. Anyway, we're there. This is, it's coming in the winter. It was freezing. It was at an old little go-kart track in Minto. We had no money. We'd wasted all our money sort of, getting there and whatever else. So funny enough, a mate who I went to school with, who was another best mate of mine I hadn't seen for a while, he was actually one of the original Searcher crew from Glebe.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Glebe boys.
Yeah, shout out to Glebe. Shout out to Redfern in those days too, who used to come to the raves and mate, never caused trouble, anything like that. They were top blokes. So shout out to those blokes. They know who they are. I'm not going to mention any names, but he was a great mate of mine. For whatever reason, he'd come into some money, right? My best mate at the time, he's grabbed me on the shoulder. He's gone, look who it is. So we've turned around and I've gone, oh man, raves used to be like that too in those days. You'd run into people you'd never expect to run into, and it just sort of heightened the whole thing, like. So anyway, I'm like, oh wow. He goes, look, man, I'm loaded. He goes, have you had one of them pills or what? And I said, no. He goes, all right, let's go. So he's took me over to this bloke. He's bought one, shoved it down my throat. Now, as I said, I'd only just had my knee reconstructed. I literally limped into this place, right?
Yeah.
Half an hour later, man, I was up on the speakers, the shirts off. Mate, right?
What knee?
Oh, 100%, mate. I was flying. I couldn't feel my legs, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we got home the next morning, had to drag myself up the stairs to get back inside, But that was just one of those crazy experiences. We went to the wrong place. We missed the train. Anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. But as soon as we got to the rave, it was all right. Everything went right. It was just, and that was like, it was like that in those days, but yeah. They're good memories, like when you sit down and actually talk about it and actually remember.
Yeah,
100%, bro.
We've got a lot of those good memories as well. I think that's what
you're stirring something in my head as well.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it.
But
in
that's
ages.
what I said. It's all in there somewhere, and usually one story will lead into another. So that's why I said to you, give me a minute, and I've probably got a bunch of others, but I'll remember them for next time.
Yeah, for sure. I think that we ran into a few of those issues before. Where me personally from Penrith, go to Central Station or go to Town Hall Steps, trying to find a number, call it, and the party's out in St. Mary's. Fucking, I have to come back.
Yeah, all the way back. Yeah. Mate, but you know what, Bart? We did it because we loved it, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know what as well too, Bart? I remember in those days, not to not bagging people, but we're the generation that does this now.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to go out, half the excitement was getting there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'd be G'ing each other up.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we hear this track. I can't wait to hear this bloke play. Oh, did you hear it's going to have the sick lasers? And you know what I mean? And you'd be pumping yourself up. You'd get nervous in the guts. As soon as you got off the train and heard the woo, 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 it just, mate, it was, it was unreal. That was part of the experience, I reckon, was going there and finding it, and it was part of the adventure.
Yeah.
Then when you got there, you were that stoked, you found it, you had the night of your life, no one else knew about. You went home and did it again next week.
Yeah, that's how we made a lot of friends. If you couldn't hear the bass, you'd look for the fluffy pants, or whatever.
Follow the ravers.
And yourself too. I mean, in those days, as I said, one of the great things about raves in those days, because of the ecstasy culture, there was no dramas. There was an unwritten rule, no fights.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you did, you were an outcast. People didn't want to know you, So there was never any aggression or anything like that. That was one of the great things about the parties, And that's what I said. Even rougher kids came who were from the streets, who were renowned, rough. I mean, some of my mates in that used to come in as well, they were renowned, They pull their heads in and just have a good time with everyone else. You know how many times you turn around and there's this Blaze, oh, this is my best mate. Sorry, what's your name again? Yeah, that's him. Yeah, you know what I mean? People would just bump into total strangers. You'd form these lifelong friendships.
Yep.
Just totally because everyone was in that same mindset and all that kind of stuff. I sort of miss that a little bit.
Yeah.
Same.
Where you just sort of go in and everybody was sort of on that level, and you just, you'd be going from person to person to person. I used to be renowned. I'd just go missing. So I'd be with my crew, right?
Yep.
And I go, I'm just going to go for a walk and get some water or something. I go, no, come on, man. We know what you like. No, I'm coming back. I'm just going to I just need a drink or a cigarette or something, right?
You know you're not coming back.
3-4 hours later, they'd find me down in front of a speaker with some group of girls or some group of dudes or something. Like, oh, he's here.
We haven't lost him.
Yeah.
GTA side quest.
Yeah, it was unreal, wasn't it? But yeah, we made lots of friends and stuff like that. That were still friends to this day. So yeah, it was a cool little time, you know.
How do you feel the whole Annawood thing went down, and how did that change everything?
Look, as I said, at the time, because it was getting hot with the happy hardcore, that was young people's music. So a lot of teenagers were attracted to it. As I said, us sort of hardened ones, if you want to call it that had been on the streets for a number of years, we knew our way around things. We knew how to handle risk and stuff like that, and we knew about drugs. We knew about drug dealers. We knew how it worked. You know. You got some of these kids that were green, man. They came from like private schools, preppy schools and stuff like that. They saw us rough kids getting down and wanted to hang with us, which was cool. Don't get me wrong. And we didn't take advantage of that. We didn't rob them. We didn't, Yeah. Respect. But what happened was because they were green, they'd been, they'd grown up in privileged sort of lifestyles. We hadn't.
Yep.
They hadn't been exposed to this kind of stuff. So when they came out, they didn't know what they were getting into. This is the thing, some of them, and unfortunately, never to speak ill of the dead. I mean, rest in peace to for sure. But it was a pivotal point in the scene. Before that, now, as I said, I'm not advocating anything. I'm not saying anything should be like this or should be like that. I'm just saying how it was. Before that, the drug market at raves was open air. It was literally open air, man. You'd walk up, you need pills, you need this, that. Yeah, there was no, police didn't know about it. I'll tell you something, one time, police pulled me up one time in a lane in Surrey Hills, right? I had a pill and a trip in one of those bus ticket, remember the old Metro 10 things?
Yeah.
They've took it off me and I thought,
the little plastic thing.
Yeah, I thought, oh my God, I'm gone here, They've opened it up and he goes, look at this faggot, will ya? and you know what he thought it was? He thought it was a lolly and a stamp. Even the police didn't even know what they were looking at in those days. Like this was so early 95, right? And I'm like, oh yeah. Give my stamp and my lolly, and I said, get out of here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. Like, yeah, but you know what I mean? That's what I'm. Even it was that new back in those days. Even sort of the police didn't know what was going on. So yeah. What happened then was because their parents didn't know what they were doing. Right, so it was the old thing. You say I'm staying at my house, I'll say I'm staying at yours, and we go out all night and have fun.
That's a flawless trick,
right? Okay, and everybody did it. But with these, as I said, these kids who weren't from the streets, who weren't really exposed to it, when things went wrong, they didn't know how to handle it. So what happened with that was, instead of taking it to a hospital to get help or something, they're thinking, oh well, if we go there, they're going to call the parents, right? So the last thing on earth they want, even to risk death, is for the parents to find out. So they took her back to another person's house, and she just gradually died. Just wrapped out and died. And so I remember it was a real pivotal point, and it was what brought a lot of attention to the scene. Once things become political, they're in the news, they're on papers, politicians are speaking about it. Now all of a sudden, someone's going to take action. So the police started shutting down parties. They came up with a dance party code of practice that made it harder to put them on in certain venues and stuff like that. I mean, back in the old days, it was a warehouse. It was, as I said, there were joints in the city flat out that if I walked past and said, we used to have raves there, you'd look at me and go, no way. Yes way. Right? But you could back in those days and you can get away with it. And as I said, it was the days before sound restrictions and stuff like that too. So, mate, they were booming. They were cranking these parties, So what happened with that was, I remember straight away after it, there was a big, there was a rave a couple of weeks later called Peace Train. They had to take it to Canberra, right? Because it was just that red hot here. They couldn't put it on, right?
Yeah, too much heat.
So they went down to Canberra, and actually I remember 60 Minutes or one of those went down with a relative of Anna Woods, and actually to expose the and it wasn't a good look. So they're walking around and they're showing how easy it was to buy drugs, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't know it's going to end up on TV and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a tough time. But yeah, I mean, as I said, because of the passion of people who are into it at that time, they would just refuse to let it die.
Yeah.
So we did what we could, we half-assed whatever parties we could, and eventually sort of it dropped off, the attention like that sort of dropped off a bit and went to other places and we sort of picked up again from that. But yeah, it was a very pivotal point. Before then, there was no attention at raves whatsoever. As I said, it was our little secret. Nobody knew about them. That brought attention to it, unfortunately, yeah. And in a negative way, of course. You know,
course,
so,
of course.
Yeah, maybe the next pivotal point after that would have been Happy Valley, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So and again as well, what I was saying about how there was no dramas or anything like that. I remember one bloke did get shot at Raveland, which was do you remember the old Graffiti Hall of Fame?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody who doesn't know what I'm speaking of, look it up. It was on Botany Road. So where the McDonald's is at Waterloo, there it was a little bit a couple of blocks south from there. It was like our backup venue. So whenever a venue would get shut down or fell through or something like that, right, we'd go to either Sydney Park or the Graffiti Hall of Fame. So that was a really big event. I actually didn't go to that one because that was about a week after I had my operation. But my best mate went, and I remember he rang me the next day and he goes, "Mate, I was right near it." But what happened with that was dramas from outside the scene, and these people just happened to happen. Yeah. Yep. So it wasn't like a planned drama or anything like that, or a gang meet-up or anything like that. It was one bloke who'd had a drama with another bloke, probably a drug rip-off or some crap like that. One bloke happened to have one of these ones, so he's seen him and let it rip, you know. But that was the only drama ever. And even then, I remember when that happened, there was a bit of a thing about it, and it went away real quick because it had nothing to do with the actual raves itself.
Yep.
But yeah, like what you were saying, once they started to have the issues with people that were dying from drugs and stuff like that, that's where, you know.
Yeah, it seems to be like I think it comes back every once in a while. We have those deaths at unfortunate deaths at DEFCON. And that's what essentially shut it all down. The same thing, they needed a scapegoat.
Yeah.
And
see, and the laws are the problem, you know. Like, I mean, not to get political and go down another thing here, but it's like they're saying, when these kids are coming into the raves or you know, the events these days, and they've got, you know, whatever in their pocket, they get to the gate and they see a bunch of police there with dogs. It's intimidating, man. And even if you haven't done anything wrong, you act weird, you know? Like,
absolutely.
I act weird when I walk past cops.
Mate, I drive past them. I've lost my license that many times. I stiffen right up, like, you know? Like, but it's just that's what police do. They intimidate people. And what happens is these kids panic, dump the drugs and stuff like that. So, yeah,
I've done that before.
Yeah.
When I was young.
We all have, you know? Like, let's go. See you later, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see what happens after that. But but unfortunately, that's a bit of the problem there too, you know, because you don't know what you're getting as well, you know. So when these kids are out and about, quite often because there's so much heat there, drug deals are rushed. Right, somebody wants to quick, whooshka, you don't even see it, you know,
or they don't know the strength of it.
Or you don't have time to ask around. Is this actually the real deal? Has anyone had one? You know, people just quick, you know, like.
Yeah.
So that's a problem as well, you know. So, but again, that's another conversation. So
yeah. Thanks, Dave.
My pleasure. As I said, I won't be a stranger. I'll come up with some more stuff, and next time you invite me, I'll make sure I have a bunch of stories to go.
We would love to have you back.
Yeah,
absolutely. You definitely have to come back.
Yeah.
When you invited me, that's what I said. I was stoked. It was a big honour. You know, like for people to actually want to hear what you've got to say, it's, you know, like it's redeeming, you know.
It's
like,
an honour to have you here, to be honest.
Well, thank you very much.
Right.
No, that's what I said. Huge respect to you boys for what you're doing. So, as I said, anyone who does anything positive in the scene, if I can help, man, hit me,
champion,
hit me. You know, like I'm in it for the love of the game. Always have been, and if it's something that's going to do well for our scene, mate, it's benefits everyone, doesn't it? You know.
Well, you heard it here. Everybody support your local parties, your small parties.
Definitely.
Yes.
Please support them.
Yep.
Every person counts.
Yeah.
So just to keep it going, and that's how we're going to get bigger and better parties.
Yeah. And keep liking and sharing my page too.
Absolutely. 99 Kickz podcast.
99 Kickz. Peace out.